Okay, so I don't know if I'm going to stitch this video off of the last one, but the last one was that how do you multiply binomial pairs, with the fractions, and all that garbage, keep, change, flip. But if I didn't, I ended up talking about putting the answers on trial. Now,
Mhm.
this is a quadratic equation. Whenever it's a letter squared, plus or minus a number and a letter, and then plus or minus just plain a number, forks, knives, and spoons, then that's called a quadratic equation. That is like that last section of math. I'm going to glance over real quick and look at this thing. This is the quadratic formula. This is the very, very end of math. That is as tricky as it gets. It's got this weird plus minus thing that looks like a tombstone. It's got, B's, A's, and C's, and negatives, and square roots, and all this stuff. The A, B, and C, just to do a quick preview, is the A, B, and C. Let me get my pen. Whatever number is in front of that, dang it, whatever number is in front of that is the A, that number is the B, that number is the C. So we would take 1, -4, and 12, -12. That would be our A, B, and C. And we would plug it into that monster formula. It's not monster, it just looks weird. Kind of like my face. So we would plug in all those numbers, and it would get confusing. The negative of b, well, b is already -4, so a negative makes a positive, and there's all sorts of twisty garbage to deal with. Anyway, we can still get it right, but we're going to say we don't have to go that far. We want to get comfortable where we're at. So, which of the following is the solution for this equation? You're in the test, question 31, tired, fatigue is starting to put the answers on trial. We're going to plug and play. So down here, we talk probably about factoring and the long way to do this. And we don't do things the long way. We just worry about getting the right answer. So we're going to plug in 0. If you get a 0 or 1, try them because they're the easiest. So I'm going to write the equation here, x to the second power, and I'm going to spread it all out. -4x minus 12, and we're going to see when we plug stuff in what equals 0. So I'm going to do 0 to the second power minus 4. There's a times dot hidden right there. 0 minus 12. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. We should write her in over here. She's going to make sure we do everything in the right order. That's some classy handwriting right there. Okay, parentheses, there are none. So we're done there. Exponents. 0 times 0. Remember, the exponent's just a repeater. 0 times 0 is 0. So that's done. And now we do multiplication and division as we see it from left to right. So I'm going to bring all this junk down. Remind myself, that's all we're dividing. 4 times 0 is 0. 0 minus 12 is not 0. So 0 is not the answer. And we can kind of expect that because 0 is kind of the easiest one to work with. So now let's try 2. So that's no good. So now we'll try 2. That's 2 squared minus 4 times 2. So 2 squared is 2 times 2, so that's 4. Minus 4 times 2, which is 8. We bring all this stuff down, and this we type into our calculator, because this could possibly be it, and I don't want to get screwed up on adding and subtracting. No, -16, so that's not it. So we've tried a 0, and we've tried a positive number. Let's try a negative number. Is this fun? Of course not, it's math. But we can put the answers on trial and feel like we're grading papers. Now here we go with negative numbers. We got to be careful. The negative came with the 6, so just for form's sake, I'm putting the parentheses around it to scotch tape that to that. Wherever the 6 goes, the negative's going to go. So -6 squared is -6 times -6. And that's Calculator says is positive 36. 4 times negative 6 is negative 24, says the calculator. Everything else comes on down. Now, of course, we could flip these. Minus a negative is the same as plus a positive, or we could just type it into the calculator as it looks. And we go 36 minus negative 24 minus 12, 48. So that's not it. It's got to be 6. There's a very quick way we could check that. (36 minus 24 minus 12 would be 0. So that was the longest road we could take, but just plugging in, trusting yourself. If it's worth the fight, it's worth our time. Like I said, there's depth of knowledge, 1, 2s, and 3s. There's only so many for every level. So when you can fight and do a difficult question, it's worth the fight. And that is enough algebra for one day. We did more questions of algebra than would be on the test. So, running for, practicing for an 8-mile race, you run 10 miles, I guess. I don't know. I'm not a runner. Or should I pretend to know? But we want to deal with that fatigue, and we're in good shape. You guys are awesome.